Welcome back, everyone. It is now time for Martin Jönsson, CEO of AlzeCure, to enter the stage. Welcome, Martin.
Thank you so much, David. Yes, hello. My name is Martin Jönsson, and I'm the CEO of AlzeCure Pharma. I'm here to introduce the company, what we are focusing on, the projects we are driving, and the science we are utilizing. AlzeCure as a company is focusing on Alzheimer's disease and on pain, areas of huge unmet medical need. We are a company which was founded in 2016 out of a research foundation founded in 2012 in cooperation with the Swedish Alzheimer's Fund and also Bengt Widblad at the Karolinska Institute. We are a very experienced team with personnel, founders, experience from drug discovery and development and also commercialization. We are located here in Stockholm at Karolinska Institute, and the research we are doing is based on 3 platforms. NeuroRestore, where we have for cognitive disorders focusing on Alzheimer's disease. And then we also have Alzstatin, which is a disease-modifying treatment against Alzheimer's disease. And then we have the platform Painless, where we have several pain projects. As a company, we are public. We are on the Swedish Nasdaq on First North Premier Growth Markets in 2018. We have a cash position around 300 million Swedish crowns, market cap, and a cash position around 78, as reported shortly. As a company, our business model is that we are a research and development company. And with that, we are driving our projects into early clinical phase defined as phase 2, and then working on partnerships and out-licensing. And with this, getting financing through upfront payments, milestone payments, and royalties. As a company, we have consciously chosen to work with small molecules. And small molecules is, of course, as we know, very, very small. And this can be compared, for instance, with biologics. So why have we done this? This is, of course, to increase the likelihood of success based on the main targets that we have is in the brain. And with small molecule, you have a higher likelihood of passing the blood-brain barrier. The pipeline that we are having consists of 6 different projects, which are organized into the 3 platforms. NeuroRestore for cognitive disorder, where we have 1 project in clinical phase, currently in phase 1, where we are focusing on Alzheimer's disease. Alzstatin, preventive treatment against Alzheimer's disease, where we are working in preclinical phase. And then in Painless, where we have our pain project, we have 1 project in clinical phase, where we just ended a phase 1b study, where we had positive results. As a company, our main focus is Alzheimer's disease, a devastating disease and a disease which is costing the society more than oncology and cardiovascular diseases together. And this with a patient population which is expected to triple in the next 30 years. So why is that? This is, of course, based on that we have an aging population. Today we have around 50 million people who are suffering from dementia. And in 2050, in 30 years, we expect that patient populations to be around 150 million. And when it comes to Alzheimer's disease, it's really a progressive and lethal disease. And we can look at the disease in 2 stages. We have pre-symptomatic Alzheimer's, and we have symptomatic Alzheimer's. In pre-symptomatic Alzheimer's, the disease is building up, but we have no symptoms. And what is happening is that in the brain, there is building up plaque, toxic substances, which are breaking down the brain, harming neurons, synapses, etc. And today, we don't have any therapeutics against this. And then we have the phase symptomatic Alzheimer's, when the brain is so damaged so we get symptoms in the form of initially speak problem, memory problems, and over time that our body function will not work as they should. And in symptomatic Alzheimer's, there are some treatments today, but these treatments aren't very effective, and they also have side effects. So in both these cases, we can say that there is a huge unmet medical need. What we can say about the Alzheimer's market is that there is a huge market potential. As you probably know, this year, this summer in the US, the product Aduhelm was approved, aducanumab. And if only 5% of the US Alzheimer's patients would be prescribed this drug is expected to have a sales around $17 billion annually. And this is in an area where we are expecting the patient population to triple in the coming 30 years. So that is just showing the huge potential. But what is important to think about is the progression of Alzheimer's disease. And here you can see a healthy brain. And here you see what the brain looks like when you should be treated with an antibody. This is mild Alzheimer's disease, which is the indication for Aduhelm. And what you see here is that when these patients are treated with an antibody, then the brain is really, really damaged. And what we want to accomplish at AlzeCure is really to work on to preserve a healthy brain. Because so if you get treated, clearing out the plaque, etc., your cognition is not improved in any way with an antibody, so you don't want to get in that situation. So we at AlzeCure, how are we attacking this? We are attacking Alzheimer based on two different platforms. We have we have Alstatin, which is a disease-modifying treatment to prevent or slow down the progression of Alzheimer's disease. And we are doing this with focusing on the production of toxic amyloid beta. Then, for the patients who have developed Alzheimer's disease or other cognitive diseases, we have the project NeuroRestore, where we are focusing on improving the neural functioning, and with that, cognition and memory. And both these projects, as I mentioned before, are small molecules which we aim to develop as oral therapies. Let's see a small video about NeuroRestore, just so you understand how it works.
The electrical impulses transmitted along the projections of nerve cells result in the release of particular messenger molecules, so-called neurotransmitters. These molecules transmit signals from one nerve cell to the next at specific contact points, or synapses. The dysfunction and loss of synapses in Alzheimer's disease correlates strongly with the clinical symptoms seen in the affected individuals. AlzeCure's project, NeuroRestore, improves nerve cell function and enhances their ability to communicate with each other, including improving synapse function.
So this is NeuroRestore. So NeuroRestore is a cognitive enhancer focusing on improving neural function and cognitive capabilities. And this with focusing on the neurotrophins, BDNF and NGF, to modulate and increase the level of these compounds. And why are these important? These compounds are so central when it comes to cognition and memory function. And as I mentioned before, we focus here on Alzheimer's disease. But what's so interesting here is that it's not only in Alzheimer's disease you have a cognitive impairment. You have it also in other diseases which we think we can target with the NeuroRestore. You have in Parkinson, you have in sleep disorders, you have in traumatic brain injury, etc. So we see huge opportunity with this platform. Our next platform, as I mentioned before, is Alstatin. Alstatin, Alzheimer's disease modifier, working on preventing or delaying the disease progression. And how are we doing this? We are focusing on A-beta-42, which is thought to be the culprit of the development of the toxic fragments and over time plaque in the brain. What we are doing to prevent this is that we have developed a gamma secretase modulator where we change the production of A-beta. Instead of producing a lot of A-beta-42, we are impacting it so less of this protein is produced. And instead that other A-beta forms like 37 and 38 are produced, which is thought to actually work against the coagulation of toxic A-beta. So very, very interesting project. And we have already shown that with these substances we can diminish the A-beta-42 production without up to 50%, and also producing more 38 and 37 and 38, which could work against the coagulation. So how are we then different compared to the antibodies? Here you see the amyloid cascade, which is attacked. The antibodies are focusing on oligomers and protofibrils and plaque. What we are focusing on is the source to in this cascade, to see to it that these toxic fragments aren't being built up. So that is how we are different. Our second focus area is pain, chronic pain. And chronic pain is something which is leading to more suicide and depression. It's the most common cause to sick leaves. And today we also have a huge opioid crisis in the US. So what we can say is that there is huge unmet medical need for more effective and safer treatment in the pain area. And we are attacking this market with two projects. We have one in neuropathic pain, where there are globally more than 600 million patients. And here we have a project called ACD440. The second project is called TRACK-A-NAM, where we are focusing on osteoarthritis and other severe pain conditions. And only in osteoarthritis, there are more than 300 million patients. And actually, our project ACD440 is built on the discovery that this year is being rewarded the Nobel Prize to David Julius. And this is for he identified and built knowledge around the TRPV1 receptor. And this is what our project is being built on. And here we have a project which has a clear confirmed mode of action, built on strong science, and where we have in phase 1b, we have results with regard to tolerability and safety and early efficacy signal. And we're now preparing to file for a phase 2 study. And when it comes to neuropathic pain, it's a huge market. Sales of around 11 billion and expected to grow to 25 in 2027. And when it comes to our short-term goals for this year, we had the goal to have a readout on our painless 440 study, which we achieved. Sorry. Something happened there. And then also to going in. Oh, something happened. Sorry for that. Something is not working exactly with the slides. Sorry for that. But I hope you see the slides in the correct way. So we had several goals with regard to gaining results on ACD440 while a 1b study, which we achieved. And also to have results in our NeuroRestore 856 study, which we also achieved. We also had a goal to start our 1b MAD study for NeuroRestore 856, which we have achieved. And now we have the goal to select the CD for our projects painless, TRACK-A-NAM, and then also to file for a phase 2a study for painless ACD440. Then, when it comes to why we think we are an interesting company to invest in, we are focusing on disease area with a great unmet medical need. We are doing this with a strong team with a strong track record. We have shown that we can identify targets, develop molecules, drive them through preclinical and into development. We also have platforms with first-in-class properties and potential game changers. And we also have parallel investment which is including follow-up programs. So we can surely say we are no one-trick pony. We also are focusing on areas with multi-billion-dollar opportunities. And also as a company, we are now heading in to become a phase 2 company. So thank you for your attention and looking forward to get questions.
Thank you very much, Martin, for a very interesting presentation.
Thank you.
I would like to start with a question about the pre-symptomatic Alzheimer patients.
Yeah.
Can they be diagnosed, or how do you select them, actually?
There are biomarkers where you can go in and look at this. There are tests where you can look at the production, the quote of A beta 42 and 40, so you can see if you have elevated levels. So there are diagnostic markers. And then there are also certain groups as APE4, etc., where you also know that there is an increased risk of developing Alzheimer's.
And should there be a screening for this, or should people who are worried that they might be in these groups go and check themselves with their local doctor? Or
the thought is over time. First of all, we need to there need to be good treatment when people go and diagnose and try to understand where they are. And today there aren't any good treatment for this. So if you go and diagnose and get worried, there's actually no reason to do that. But in the thought with our project, Alzstatin, is that we have this product. We are using biomarkers, finding out the population who are in risk, and based on these biomarkers, then these patients should be treated. So Alzstatin, as our project is called, it's like the thought around statins, which is a preventive for the heart. Here we are trying to develop something which is preventive against Alzheimer's disease.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you.
And how has the approval in the US of Aduhelm affected AlzeCure?
We feel it's so positive that this has happened in the US. It's good for the market and the companies, because now the companies understand the regulatory pathway for approval. What this has led to is that many more companies are now really focusing on Alzheimer's disease and really pushing their projects. So the way this is great for us is that these big companies are now scouting for additional Alzheimer projects. And since we have a couple of these, the interest in our projects are now increasing. And we feel this is very, very positive.
Happy to hear that.
Thank you.
And to conclude the Q&A, if we look 12 months ahead, or maybe to the end of 2022, what major news flow can we expect, like top 2 or 3 issues?
We have not communicated the plan for the full 22, but what we have been saying is that, of course, selecting the CD for track A NAM, where there is a huge interest, and also to get results on the MAD study, and based on that, following up on that study are key hallmarks for us. And then to file for ACD 440 in neuropathic pain. I would say those are the main things.
Okay. Thank you very much, Martin. A pleasure having you here, and good luck on your journey.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you. Thank you.